In my wildest dreams, I did not ever think I would join active politics. Of course, I got married to a very wonderful man, Dario. He's a missing person. He was on the team for Colonel Dr. Besije, the reform agenda. At that time, I was a Omulamuzi, judicial officer. So when he disappeared, because they believe, and I believe they won the 2001 elections. And of course, he got missed as a missing person. 14th of August, 2001.
So how would you describe the relationship between Northern Uganda and or even Western Nile with the NRM over the past 40 years?
Hostile.
Friends, home and abroad, welcome to yet another episode of the NuP podcast. Today I'm joined by our party deputy president, who I have for so long wanted to sit down and have a conversation with her. I am sure many of us sometimes have wanted to hear from her beyond just the politics to understanding who she is. And but also most of you are shocked at what is happening in Northern Uganda. We just finished the presidential campaign rallies in Northern Uganda, and it has been very, very massive. Most of us are really interested in understanding how she has been able to do that. Doctor, welcome to the NuP podcast.
Thank you so much, Lawel, and thank you, colleagues. Thank you, Ugandans, and all those peace-loving and human rights practitioners out there. We are very humbled and honored. I bring you warm greetings from the entire northern region, which comprises of West Nile, Acholi sub-region, Lango sub-region, and also the Karamoja sub-region.
How are our people there? What's the heartbeat? What are they saying on ground?
Well, the general pulse for a long time has been, we need change. We need a new Uganda. We need a democratic society. We need service delivery. We need schools that are where our children and grandchildren are going through, not those where they go through our children.
Yes,
for us, we went through schools. Now you people, the schools are going through
us. Yes.
So that is what we want, a peaceful northern region.
Yeah, maybe we'll talk about
not
that.
Not only northern region, but a peaceful Uganda.
True. We'll talk about that a bit later. But I think sometimes you people do a lot for us who want change, but also generally for the country. But maybe sometimes we don't care for you. I think one of the things I want to ask you as we start this conversation is, how are you? And not just how are you in terms of, I'm okay, like everyone does. The last time we saw you, there's a time when the army broke into the hotel where you were staying, and the entire entourage, the campaign team.
In Elira.
Yes, we have seen you have to have scuffles with the army during campaign rallies, and sometimes people worry, and that's why I'm asking this beyond just I'm okay, I'm doing well. How are you as a person? Yeah.
Well, let me start by saying my name is Lina Zedriga Waru Abuku. I have so many layers of other identities. I'm a mother, a grandmother, I'm a practicing Catholic, and my church and faith I take, and practicing it, I take it very seriously. I'm a very proud African woman born and raised in West Nile. I'm a Lugwara by tribe, very, 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 very proudly so, bordering Congo.
Yes.
And I'm a lawyer, practicing lawyer. I'm a member of FIDA, among others. I'm a lecturer. I'm Jaja Anna, my Gayaza community of Our Lady of Good Counsel, my church, my parish. I'm Jaja Anna because there's a lay apostolate group that was started by Pope Francis, and it specifically is an alliance which targets to care and also interaction between grandparents and elderly and the young people.
So of course, pollinating, yes.
Yeah, I am
intergenerational conversation.
And it is under the patronage of Saints Anne and Saint Joachim. So in every parish and sub-parishes, there's a face for that. So Gayaza Parish chose me to be the Saint Anne.
If I may ask on behalf of the viewers, how are you? How are you feeling? How's your life?
How am I? I am hanging in here. I am happy to be alive. I am, of course, very concerned about what is now happening in Western Uganda and the entire brutalization, the society, the lack of trust. I can't even come here comfortable and drink water. I am concerned. I am physically okay, but spiritually and mentally, I think I am not fine. I am not.
And I think personally, you know how the President Museveni talks about how they brought peace, and there's been this conversation about what does it mean to have peace, what does it mean to be peaceful. And like you're saying, perhaps you can move, but your heart and soul are not in the best place.
Yeah, I don't feel safe.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't feel safe, but I trust the Lord that I serve.
Okay.
That's why I always move with my weapon.
Yes.
Yeah, and this is the weapon of our times.
There's that video when actually you are moving out of the hotel and you are holding it, and it's that faith, and I'm sure that inspires very many people.
I pray so.
You talked about a bit. Let's go a bit behind. You talked about being raised in West Nile near Congo.
Yeah.
You've been here for some time, served the country. You could take us back. What in your growth as a young woman living in West Nile or in Uganda, what inspires you to serve your country, to be concerned? And I ask that because you've done a lot of work in that area, but not everyone has taken on that mantle, that responsibility upon themselves. We could take us back in time. What inspires you to partake in the issues of your country?
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm very grateful that you persisted to host me today. Today is actually the feast of Our Lady of Guadalupe, and I am also grateful for the team that is concerned about me, Lemmy, and I send greetings, and of course quick recovery to Dan Magic. I send greetings to my colleagues, the deputy presidents, and all of you. I don't take it for granted, and even those abroad who are praying for us, who are calling on us, I want to say thank you so much for those insights and the support, because that is what keeps me moving, because I believe I owe it to all this vote of confidence, and also too, it's for me a journey of pilgrimage. We are not here forever, so I believe we need to do some work that will be remembered. And coming from West Nile, coming from Arua, coming from Ajia, coming from Olevo, a very disadvantaged, remote village, and born in 1961. Oh. Yes.
And before independence, yes.
Before independence, I'm older than Uganda.
Yes,
so, in my class, what inspired me? In my class, in village schools, and also I was the third child in my family, and they followed the two boys. I grew more like a tomboy. They were handling me like their younger brother.
Like a fellow boy.
Of course, in the village, going to herd goats, and you go and you harden yourself by. You can see all the scars of this village guy. So, my generation, not many girls had the opportunity to go to school. But I was blessed and honored by my father, my mother. They made sure I went to school. My mother actually told me, for her, she cannot read and write, which means she has no eyes. So she would like me to be her eyes. And I took that very seriously. And then we started primary 1, primary 2, primary 3, over 57 girls. Now many had dropped out of school. Many dropped out as soon as they got their menstrual period. They were considered mature enough to get married. Okay, so by the time in 1974 I reached primary 7 in our Leo primary school, I was the only girl
in the school,
in the class, the candidate class. What inspired me, I got this wake up call that I'm the only girl in the class with, men, many big, our time, big men, would still be in school and so on.
Yes.
And I was very tiny, hard body.
Yes, and you're the only one.
Like kind of stunted, actually. Let me say stunted. No breasts, nothing.
Yes.
So, but then I got the wake up call that, hey, how blessed and lucky and favored I am. That for me, I've survived. All the other girls are not there. And the previous year, there was no girl who sat in PLE. Oh, So I had to read very hard for all these girls. And I was determined to be the best in the class. But I thank God I wasn't only the best in the class, I was the best in the entire Vura County.
Oh, wow.
Yes, I even wanted.
Excellence comes along with
that determination.
Yes, yes.
And of course, the socialization, we were being socialized specifically for marriage. Not my generation, they'll say, no. The higher this girl goes, she gets spoiled.
Yes.
You know? Yes, she's spoiled. So then I had to really work very hard and ensure that I represented these girls. That's my inspiration.
So when do you venture into, I don't say service, I think you become a lawyer, you start to practice. When do you decide that now I need to serve my country? Because I think that one of the things that shocked, I don't want to say shocked, but surprised us was your unveiling.
Yes. 8th of April 2020.
Exactly.
Yeah, I remember even the date.
Yes, no one saw it coming. And I think also at that time there were a few successful Ugandans who are willing to take on the mantle and partly to even associate with the people power then, because most people thought they are ghetto, they don't understand public service. And then boom, you were unveiled and everyone was shocked when they read your CV. It was, and I think for me in my head, and what I'm trying to get out of you is, at what point do you realize this is what I want to do? I want to serve against all odds. Because other people just want to, go do a corporate job and retire and have amass wealth.
Well, thank you so much. Mine all along, even my marriage, even my journey has always been inspired by the will of God. By the will of God. I am not this ambitious person, no. I actually take my social teaching of the Catholic Church very, very seriously. That you are a vessel of the Lord. You must pray to know his will. I first was a teacher. Then from teaching, I went to do law. And I became a judicial officer. I climbed the ranks. And among all these things, in this trial, there were trials that I felt the Lord was using to take me to serve him somewhere else. Me, it has been a service of the Lord. That's what I was eyeing. And of course, I got married to a very wonderful man, Dario. He's a missing person. He was on the team for Colonel Dr. Besige, the reform agenda. At that time, I was Omulamuzi, judicial officer, and I didn't want anything to do with the politics.
Yes.
He used to hide. They would hide where to do, because I'm the judicial officer. And I don't want anything to do with the politics, active politics. In my wildest dreams, I did not ever think I would join active politics.
Interesting.
Yes. So when he disappeared, because they believe, and I believe they won the 2001 elections, they even went to court, and there were rulings which really pointed that the elections were not free, they were not fair, there was massive rigging and stuff. And of course, he got missed as a missing person, 14th of August 2001. So, and left me with 5 children. Then my brothers also died and left me with the children. So I took this mantle of nurturing and taking this. It was heavy. It was very, very heavy, because when he was there, I never even knew how to go to the market to buy things. I didn't. So I had to learn the hard way. And I also owe it to my mother. May her soul rest in peace. She was with me, and she really strengthened me to take up this huge responsibility of being a single parent and then embracing really my faith more. So the children are now grown up. I'm also a grandmother. And so what inspired me was my father was a politician, the Democratic Party,
DP.
a practicing Catholic. He was even Dr. Semogrere's, may his soul rest in peace. May both their souls rest in peace. He was his campaign manager for Northern Region. So, yes. So, the 1980, I actually voted, okay? My brother, my late brother, was a UPC. Okay, but in the house, in the home, and then my father was a very, very, he was a disciplinarian, and I loved him so much. He loved me so much. So then I eventually, having been raised and nurtured as a Democratic Party, I became active in DP. However, I ran for 2015 in the Democratic Party structures as the women wing leader. I strongly believe I was rigged. And then I went and ran in Vura for the Democratic Party. But the way I was treated, there was no fairness. It was not what I expected. Okay, it wasn't inclusive, really. In my view, I may be wrong or I may have over-expected. So with the legal team, there are not many things I did with for Democratic Party. I went silent. Please let me conclude this. Yes. I went silent. I decided 2016, I won that election, but I was rigged also in Vura in favor of Dr. Gabriel Aridru, who was the Minister of State then. It is on record. I decided not to go to court. Then I said, there's nothing much in politics. Let me resign. Step down from a judicial officer, and I was advised to take a leave, a sabbatical leave. I'm actually up to today on a sabbatical leave. I am a judicial officer. When I pronounce that I'm a judicial officer, I am a judicial officer. And I had actually even been, I'd gone through with the interview of being a high court judge. But Museveni could not allow. Yeah, it is all on record. Judicial Service Commission has all those records, okay?
What year was that?
That was 2018. So, because they first asked me, are you going to be on our favor? They know it. So, it's on record. It's even written down, by the way. I have documented. So now, what happened was I wanted to be a catechist. Why did I want to be a catechist? I went to bury my mother 3 years ago. December 18th, and in the village there were young girls, babies, carrying babies. It changed my worldview of what raising or making contribution to society is. So I said, okay, I'm going to be a catechist. I'm going to come home and start at that level to inspire these girls, to inspire the communities, young people like you, looking very old because they were drinking these chemicals in sacks, in small paper bags. For me, bags, yes. Generations were raising, and I had failed my duty to inspire anybody. What was I doing globally? In Harvard, when my community, there's nobody I would look down back to and say, there's a Lina. So I owed them. So I had nothing to do with it. But let me come to where you want me to be.
Okay.
2018. Chadondo, then Arua, okay? Actually, Arua, and these of His Excellency were arrested, brutalized, and so on. And then I started following the legal trends, and I got so interested in delivering justice and making contribution, and always in touch with the Council, Nicholas Opio and stuff. Then the Kaduba. The internet protest.
OTT, yes.
Yes, OTT. That very day I was in Buganda Road Court. But as a lawyer, not as a politician. Okay? And I had been close with Flavia, Honorable Flavia Kalule. Yes, from the women's movement. And so, when Rita was knocked down, we came to Mulago with Rita. With the Flavia. We had it totally shifted. It totally now brought me out of my closet. And we had a women's press conference in Kamocha. That time when Kamocha, not Kavule wasn't there. So we were there with Honorable Flavia Kalule and other women. We were not too many. So we were condemning this act of brutality. And how even they descended from the burial, they killed another of our supporters. So I spoke as a woman of Uganda in solidarity with the People Power Movement, the women who had organized this press conference in in Kamocha.
Yes.
That thing went viral. That I spoke 4 languages passionately. It went viral. Then those of Secretary General and His Excellency then was principal. In the course of this, they also watched this and decided to contact me, and he requested that I join the team and be the coordinator for Northern Region. I asked him, let me first pray over it. Let me do a novena. And that was the time of COVID also now. The day I was given, he invited me home. I live in Gayaza. So as I was coming to Magere, that was the day schools were closed for the COVID thing. That was March 2020. So when I reached, he said, may I have the honor to... I said yes, because I'd already told him, let me pray over it. And I saw all the, signs that, yes, I can go be the coordinator and still be, inspiring these young people to keep in school from primary, secondary schools, and so on. So he said, I had already said yes. Then he said, to be my deputy principal. And that time, remember, Honorable Wadri was the first the coordinator for Northern Region, and somehow he, and then after that it was Bosmiko team. Bosmiko also went. Then there was no substantive principal for Northern Region. So I thought I was going to be the coordinator for Northern Region. But here he elevates, because they had now done a lot of background check. And well, how did people not know this? I keep my things private. Even now when I'm posting, I'm posting, spreading Mother Mary, the love of God. I wouldn't want, because the people that I follow are saints. I want to be a saint. Saint Mother Teresa, Saint Josephine Bakita, Saint Padre Pio, the Saint Charles Lwangani companions. So their life is life of humility, the life of service of God, the life of what in the African sense would say, Ubuntu. I am because you are. Since you are, therefore I am. I am the priest from whom I got the instructions and got the first Holy Communion. He is a servant of God. Reverend Father, the Blessed Father Satori. If he can be, and we used to cook for him, why can't I also be a saint? That is my ultimate dream, yes. To be a saint.
I get that, but when you decide to take on that, yes. First, how does the community around you receive that, especially the people at international level worked with you, your friends within the women organization space? How did they receive that news? That
also the women's movement, FIDA Uganda. I'm a very active member, senior member of FIDA Uganda. I'm a very active member of Forum for Women Democracy. I am a very active member even of the many other organizations, so many internationally and locally. And I've also coordinated international activities under GAMAC. I am actually the coordinator for Africa program, Global Action Against Mass Atrocities. And in Uganda, I'm the national secretary on the National Committee for the Prevention and the Punishment of the crimes of war crimes and crimes against humanity. I am. And at the international, at the ICGRL level, I am the rapporteur for the Civil Society Forum. Our secretariat is in Tanzania.